AITA for telling my mother-in-law I married her daughter and not her. My mother-in-law is a kind and funny woman, though she does have few problems with boundaries and is a little too involved in my marriage, especially now that my wife's pregnant. My wife's family aren't well off financially, and it's the opposite with my family. My family own a factory. I'm an engineer. My wife has a job that doesn't pay well, but she's happy with it. Every time I get my wife something nice, especially jewelry, I'd get a call from my mill complaining that she got nothing once she finds out, even if it was my wife's birthday or our wedding anniversary. Holidays and other occasions aside, she'd throw a fit about how I was treating her as less than. She always comes over, and when she notices a new piece of furniture or any new item, she'd complain I didn't get her similar stuff. She sent a picture of a very expensive necklace that she wanted me to get for Mother's Day. I called her to ask about it, and she said that she's been wanting it for a while, and only I could afford it. When I told her I may not be able to get it, she replied that I already got my wife an expensive necklace on Sunday and I can afford this one. I didn't get her necklace, and instead I decided to get her some fresh flowers that I picked from my late mother's garden that I trimmed/organized myself, then put them in a nice vase. We visited Sunday evening and my mill kept smelling till it was time for gift opening. I handed her the flowers and talked about how much time and effort I made to put everything together. She was shocked and said she thought I loved and cared enough to get her something nice, just like my wife, who technically isn't even a mother yet, and she's been a mother for 32 years. I got annoyed and said that I did not appreciate her harsh response to my gift, but she argued with me and kept talking about how much she wanted the necklace and that I could afford it, just like I was able to afford the one I got for my wife, but instead chose a thoughtless, crappy gift to give her. That pissed me off. I said that I married her daughter and not her. Of course I was putting my wife first, and it's crazy she thinks I'm obligated to treat her and my wife the same. My wife looked at me and was astonished. Mill replied that I was being mean and nasty to her on purpose and rubbing my financial stability in her face, treating her as if she was greedy instead of showing her appreciation. She went inside looking so upset she was almost crying, then my wife followed her. Suddenly, everyone was staring at me. It was awkward as hell. My wife snapped in the car, telling me I was way out of line for making her mom cry on Mother's Day, and said that she will not let my attitude cause a rift between her and her mom. I asked if she agreed with her mom's demands and she said no, but I went over the top and shouldn't have spoken to her that way. She said I deeply hurt her mom's feelings and should apologize. I really don't want to ruin my relationship with my mother-in-law, but I'm worried that I just did. I saw a question about whether this was a cultural thing, and I don't know for sure. My wife's family come from Venezuela, and my mother-in-law always tries to get me to learn more about the place she originally came from. Let's start the second one. AITA for making my wife choose between me and her best friend. I am 36. I am preparing for my upcoming surgery at the end of May. I have respiratory condition that I have been suffering from, and my wife has been very supportive and accommodating of all my needs. She has endured so much by shouldering this burden with me, and I can never describe how much supportive she's been with everything that has been going on with me. The problem is that her best friend's wedding is at the end of May, specifically on the 27th, and my surgery takes place the exact same date. Now 27th was not the original date of her friend's wedding. It was supposed to be on May 18th but got changed. Her friend informed us about it on short notice. And my wife wanted to go, but it's a 8-hour trip since the wedding will be held in the groom's hometown. My wife and I discussed this, and I bluntly told her I needed her there for my surgery. She told me that that's her best friend and this will hopefully be her only wedding, and she wanted to attend. She asked if I could get a friend as my support, but I just didn't think this was right. I was even puzzled that she asked me to get a substitute while she goes to her friend's wedding. I asked if her friend's wedding was more important than my health. She argued that there was nothing wrong with it and I won't need her since the medical team will take care of me. Then she said that by refusing I was making her choose between me and her best friend. We went back and forth on this argument, and she insisted she wants to attend her friend's wedding. I told her she was being unreasonable and I never expected her to prioritize a wedding over my health. She loudly yelled, "What do you want me to do? I might lose my friend over this," then stopped talking to me. I think I handled this badly and acted in an ungrateful manner, but I think she's the one who doesn't understand the difference since my surgery is an emergency, and if her best friend is a good friend then she'd understand, right? So am I wrong for what I said? Next story: AITA for going after my ex for 10 years of child support. First time posting, So bear with me. My ex left for someone else when my kids were young, 5M and 2M. He paid child support until he was medically released from the military in late 2011. Since then he hasn't paid a penny. Anytime I've requested help, like $10 for school supplies, he tells me he has no money. He's always begged me not to file through the state and apologized for not paying. Of course he always promises that he'll start paying at some point. He gets about $2K/month from the VA, but his work history has been spotty, at best. His parents have helped with his bills. He's actually had a good job for the last 2+ years now. But still can't help. I've given him all required visitation plus extra. I want my kids to be able to have a relationship with their dad. Recently he had words with my husband and my ex said that he doesn't owe anything, morally or legally. He said I should file through the state so they can tell me to my face he doesn't owe, his words. I talked to my kids, now 19 and 16, and got their go-ahead and filed. The state will be pursuing about $70,000 in back support plus current support for the 16-yo. I know it's a lot of money and between him and his current they have quite a few kids living with them. This will put a huge financial strain on them. So AITA? Someone suggested I should add this comment as an edit, so here it is. Thank you everyone for your feedback. To clarify a couple things, the reason I didn't pursue support before was twofold. 1. Working sporadically he didn't have much money. The second and most important reason was that if I had my kids would have been drug into it. They would have been made to feel guilty for everything they had. My ex and his family would have told them that I was being greedy and didn't really need the money and so now their dad and his household were doing without because of us. I didn't want my kids involved in that drama, so I just worked more to make it happen.